Hey, this is Deacs coming at you from Samadhi Sound Studios here in Johannesburg, South Africa. A couple of people asked me, how did I get involved with the latest track? So for those of you that don't know, the Wolf My Teacher is the mastermind project of Craig Palmer, who is the drummer and lyricist for the band 450 Untrue. If you have not checked them out yet, go do yourself a favor and go and check out 450 Untrue. So Craig approached me about a year and a half ago and said that he had started a side project called The Wolf My Teacher. And the idea behind the band was to have various different musicians play on different songs. So no one song would have the same musicians playing across the whole song. So you would have different musicians playing across the various different tracks. So he actually asked me, funny enough, to play bass on this particular song, the Shadow Work song. And initially, when he sent me the track, it was literally a 4-minute drum track. That was it. You know, he'd gone into studio with Johan Haynes at the Laundry Room and recorded the drums from beginning to end. And he sent it to to me at the time, and I listened to it, and I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting project to work on. I obviously hadn't heard what the guitarist had come up with. I'd never met the guitarist at this point in time. So Craig put me in contact with then who was the guitarist that was going to be working on the track, and that was Vaughan Haylock. And so I decided to go and sit down with Vaughan. And at that time, he'd been working on the track for about 3 months, and yeah, there was a lot of odd timing signatures and various things. And I remember just sitting with him at the time saying, hey, there's a lot going on in the song. Let's go and, you've obviously written an epic piece here. Let's go and track it. Let's go and put down the guitar pieces so that it helps me when I'm working on the bass parts to understand, what's what and where can I fit in what bass pieces. So long story short, we scheduled some time here in Samadhi Sound Studios to track down some of the guitar parts. It was just meant to be initially some rough ideas to help me with the recording process for the bass and writing the bass parts. And I remember Vaughan coming to the studio, and he brought his Line 6 amp and his I think it was his Ibanez RG series guitar, and I remember just plug it in, and we ran an SM57, Shure SM57 to the cabinet, and we started tracking. And I just remember in one evening, we literally tracked all the guitar parts and everything. And then we sort of finished the guitar parts, and I said to him, what do you sort of envision for the bass pieces? I'm trying to understand where you want the bass to go in this section and that section. And then he grabbed the bass that we had here in the studio, and he just started to play the most epic bass line pieces that I'd seen. I was like, wow, dude, let's lay these things down, man. Let's lay them down. Let's not waste time. So we actually, on the same evening, pretty much laid down the full bass track, other than the intro. The intro I'd already messed with and kind of put some of my own sort of takes on that into the intro, which we ended up keeping. But 95% of the actual track is Vaughan playing bass, right from the beginning, outside of the intro at least, right from the beginning of the song. But yeah, so I ended up just doing the engineering and the production work on the guitars, the bass, initially on the track. Obviously, Johan had done all the recording on the drums with Craig Palmer. And we were sitting with a point of the song, and obviously we'd gone back and forth, and we'd listened to the song. We made some minor changes. I think Vaughan came back from one additional session where we used a different amplifier, and we used the Sennheiser E906 microphone at that point in time, just to kind of add a little bit of difference on the sound. We wanted to sound different on the actual tracking of the guitars and on all the additional layering of the guitars. But at that point, yeah, we did one additional evening where we did additional guitars for that song. And Vaughan was just such an epic musician to work with regards to how quickly he laid down the tracks, and his mind when it came to working out all the different structures around these crazy odd timings that Craig had sort of given us as a challenge to work around. And I remember we'd laid down everything, and we had initial plan was to have additional two additional vocalists working on it, on this particular track. And with various family commitments and private things going on in their lives, they just weren't able to kind of finish the track. And I remember at the time that Craig sort of said to me, hey, well, I know you've done some vocal pieces and parts in the past with Golgotha. Initially I wanted you to do the bass pieces, but since Vaughn has done that, would you be keen to do some stuff on the vocals? So I said to him, sure, why not? I'll give it a wing. I can't promise it's gonna come out perfect, but hey, I'll give it a go, And yeah, so I threw down some vocal ideas. Craig had, at that point in time, given me, I think it was like 2 pages of lyrics for the song, and it was a 4-minute song. So it was a lot of lyrics to fit 2 pages into 4 minutes. So I remember sort of sitting with the lyrics and sort of condensing it down to from 2 pages down to 1 page, and then pretty much started tracking from there. And then obviously I shared ideas back and forth with Craig, and to the point where it got to the point where we stripped out some of the vocals to make it a little bit more space for the guitars to breathe and not be so vocal heavy. But ultimately yeah, we ended up with the song as you pretty much hear it today. I mean, obviously there's been some changes and some various things, and Johan Haynes did the final mix for us and the mastering. He did an epic job on that for us. My involvement was pretty much from an engineering point of view, a production point of view of the recording the guitars, the bass, the vocals here at Samadhi Sound Studios, and just some of the basic editing and things like that we worked with the tracks. And yeah, it turned out to be a fairly cool project to work with. I'm very honored to be working with, or worked at least with, some amazing musicians on this track. So I've never played on any songs before with Craig Palmer, and neither with Vaughn Haylock. It was also my first opportunity of having Johan behind the scenes, although I've never actually officially met Johan. A lot of these projects have been back and forth. We all work remotely on these songs, which has been an interesting way of doing a song as well. It was also really interesting for me, basically Vaughn writing the song around the drums, and us basically writing the music around the drums. The drums were written from beginning to end, and the music was put to the drums. Normally, all the other songs I've ever worked on in my life have been you write the music and then the drums played to the music. This was a complete 180 to that, and it was quite an interesting experience and quite a cool experience. But be lots more to share in additional videos, but for now we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for everything, and we do appreciate your support. If you haven't watched the lyric video, it will be posted in the comments of this video. And again, thank you so much from Deacs here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Over and out. Thank you.